Bukayo Saka is having an excellent season this year at Arsenal, but his performances seem to have flown completely under the radar. Perhaps he's being overshadowed by his England teammates in Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham, who are having wonderful seasons of their own, as it is clear that there is very little attention being given to Arsenal's star boy. With 21 goal contributions in the Premier League alone this year, his haters seem to have gone silent, but his praise is not as loud as the hate was, especially following his most difficult moments. He is slowly but surely on his way to achieving club legend status, alongside the likes of Thierry Henry, and at such a young age, he's been able to completely transform Arsenal's ambitions, with the side now being able to compete for major trophies. While there are certainly some arguments for Saka's hype not being as much as other young talents, what is also certain is that nobody seems to notice the scary truth about Bukayo Saka. Let's first return to when the hype began. As with most talents, he stood out in the Arsenal Youth Academy, which he joined at age 7. Coaches praised him for his fantastic decision-making and good character, and from a young age, it was clear that he was destined to do great things. The Arsenal Academy coaches nurtured him, watching him mature until he was able to sign a professional contract immediately after turning 17 years old. At the same age, Saka would debut under Unai Emery, playing a few games and impressing in the Europa League, before his breakthrough appearance would come against Eintracht Frankfurt and saw Saka bagging a beautiful long-range goal, along with assisting 2 others in a 3-0 victory. Injuries saw Saka get into the first team, but not in the position he plays today. True Arsenal fans remember the days when Saka first broke into the side and played as a left-back, albeit quite an attacking-minded one, finishing his breakthrough season with 4 goals and 12 assists. These numbers earned him a contract in the summer of 2020, with new coach Arteta buzzing to make the most out of Arsenal's impressive youngsters. However, that summer would also see Saka go through every footballer's worst nightmare. After earning a call-up to the England squad for the 2020 Euros, Saka started and put in a man-of-the-match performance in England's 3rd group stage match. In his first senior international tournament, Saka was impressive on the big stage, but little did he know that he would have the fate of a whole country in his boots. After a hard run to the final, England found itself against a strong Italy side who had just beaten Spain in a thrilling semi-final match. And after coming on as a sub in the second half, Saka was chosen to take England's 5th penalty, and his first ever in senior football, with the chance to give England its first international trophy since the 1966 World Cup. Bukayo Saka would step up to the spot, only to have his penalty saved by the monstrous Gianluigi Donnarumma, giving Italy the title. And with the miss came a slew of racist abuse online, with so-called England fans faulting Saka for the missed penalty. Both him and his teammate Marcus Rashford, who also missed his penalty, found themselves at the forefront of the abuse, with both youngsters even calling out social media platforms to do more to prevent the racism that so many footballers must endure on a daily basis. Yet another example of the extreme amount of pressure fans nowadays will put on any player, regardless of their age, even going as far as to saying the most offensive and hateful things to players who can't even drive yet. And that's the thing about Bukayo Saka. At such a young age, he already has an immense amount of pressure to succeed with England on the international stage because of the strength of England's squad, with many picking them as favorites in any competition nowadays. And if that wasn't enough, Saka is the face of Arsenal's resurgence, looking to build on the club's recent positive years and bring it back to its former glory. Quite a bit to ask for from such a young player. Yet he's been able to do it. He has been able to restore Arsenal to the major club it once was and restore the excitement in the fans. After years of horrible results and countless humiliations like Thierry Henry, Bukayo Saka has become the face of Arsenal's new era, an era that is looking to be full of success. For such a rare talent, it's really no surprise that Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has entrusted Bukayo to play as much as he does, rarely coming off the field and operating in that high right-wing role, making his left-back days look like they are a distant memory. He has played in many different positions, as he fits in perfectly with Arteta's fast-paced possession style of play, with Saka being a chance-creating machine alongside other exciting players such as Gabriel Martinelli or Martin Odegaard. Striking fear into every left-back, Saka is deadly when he's able to cut in on his clinical left foot and curl the ball in the very same way Thierry Henry used to do, but from the other side. Although the two share differences in terms of play style, they certainly share a certain elegance and aura when they play. with the crowd standing up every time they received the ball. The penalty miss could have defined Saka's career, but the difference between good players and world-class players is mentality, and Saka's response to the whole situation showcased a mentality that very few players can boast about having, facing the toughest test for any footballer. Coming back from missing your country's most important penalty would be tough for anyone, but not Saka. He would come back to Arsenal and instantly show the kind of player he was, being involved in practically anything and everything offensively for the team. Although he ended the season with just 7 goals and 10 assists in 46 games, those who watched closely could see the talent that he had, and playing a far less offensive role than he is today. These stats don't show the full picture. His Arsenal Player of the Year award did, however, and he would follow it up with another one in the 21 and 22 season, where he bagged 12 goals and 7 assists and led Arsenal to a Community Shield and FA Cup trophy. Last season, his numbers would only improve, with Saka scoring 15 goals and providing 11 assists in a title-challenging season with the Gunners. Winning the FA Cup and Community Shield is nice and all, but with the club finally looking competitive, fans had higher aspirations, and the team certainly delivered, challenging Manchester City for the title before finally losing the title to Guardiola's side, which, let's be honest, was pretty inevitable considering the mega squad that Manchester City has. However, for this season, Arsenal finally returned to the coveted Champions League, and with another title charge on their hands, Saka has stepped up to the plate. With 7 goal contributions already in the Champions League and 21 in the Premier League so far, this could be the year that Arsenal finally do it, whether it be in the Premier League or in the Champions League, or who knows, maybe in both. However, despite his magnificent season so far, Saka is not receiving as much attention as the likes of Jude Bellingham, for example, even though he has more goal contributions in a far more competitive league. Sure, Saka is not the flashiest player to watch, but his contributions to this dynamic Arsenal side are undeniable, and he could very well be the one to bring Arsenal their first major accomplishment in a very long time. And here lies the scary truth about Bukayo Saka: unassuming, reserved, yet so incredibly talented and effective when it matters. And once again, this comes down to his mentality. Very few players, if any, would be able to bounce back from such a setback as he did, let alone go on to consistently improve and prove doubters wrong, and all without the need to be flashy or included in YouTube skill compilations. Saka plays simple, sometimes going unnoticed, until all of a sudden he appears, and this is his best quality, as he is a constant threat even when it doesn't seem that way. He's one of those players that one must really watch closely to appreciate his skill, and not just look at the highlights of the game. And this is why he goes so unnoticed by fans nowadays, who are just looking for viral clips on social media. Saka won't do a million skill moves. No, Saka will play intelligently until he finds the right space where his simple but effective dribbling can beat any player 1v1. And like Thierry Henry, he is prone to that moment of magic that you just can't deny, no matter what team you support. That moment that no fan in attendance will ever forget, that's capable of making a young lad support a team like Arsenal over anyone else.